Hello, Facebook world. This is business attorney Dave Walker here streaming live on Facebook. This is an experiment that I've been trying at the coaxing of all of our friends over at the Business Owner Movement. We've been pushing each other to try new things, and what I'm going to try new is live streaming. I'm sure I could have done a big production or some sort of major event, but I wanted to do this to try it out myself. And when I give advice to business owners, I don't like to just say, oh, go do this. I like to say, hey, I've tried this and this is what you can expect. And so that's what this is. So I'm sorry if the lighting's not great. I'm going to move the whiteboard closer when we get started. But this right now is just something for next 15 minutes or so for people to get some basic understanding of what it's like to be a business owner and how to make your business successful once you are a business owner. By way of introduction, I'm Dave Walker, a business attorney here in Atlanta Station. And one of the things that I like to do is work exclusively with business owners. I help them from startup to launching their business. And I don't do any bad news law, right? Like divorce or criminal or DUI or bankruptcy. I focus 100% on helping business start and grow. And working with business owners gives me a unique insight on kind of how businesses run day to day. I mean, I'm the attorney and they come to me for advice, but a lot of the times the business owners are thinking about other things than that. And so the idea of this whiteboard presentation was to really walk people through the process of how you get from the idea to the actual business. So what we'll do is start taking some notes. Some of you who are business owners out there watching, a lot of this is already familiar to you, and this is probably basic information. For people who are just considering starting a business, this might be what you need to push you over the edge or scare you away from the ledge, depending on your motivation, right? But anyway, I'm going to go cover three topics, really. One is the mentality of the business owner. Two is the goals that you have to set as a business owner, and then some of the strategies on how to get there. There is a comment section, I guess, that you can put questions in, etc. And if that were to happen, I guess at some point I'll read them after I'm done presenting, or maybe while I'm presenting. Not sure how this works. We'll figure it out. Okay, so let me move this closer. All right, hopefully you can see that. What we're going to do is focus in on basic principles of starting a business. And when I say basic principles, I mean like 10-year-old basics. Nothing complicated. I'm not going to treat you like a public company or like Zuckerberg, right? I want to try to treat you like my 10-year-old daughter. Now, I'm not saying that to be offensive. I'm just saying that to say that oftentimes the smaller pieces that business owners take in information, the easier it is to grasp, because there's no class for business like this. I mean, there's classes that teach you the concept of business. There's classes that can teach you, how to read the financials, but there's really not a class that can put you in the mindset of how do you try to negotiate with a client while your 4-year-old's in the background, things like that. With that being said, I better get started because my kids will be home soon and this thing will have to get cut short. Okay. So we're going to cover three topics. The first is the mentality of the business owner. I think in general, business owners think differently than a lot of other professions, particularly employees. They focus in and they have a different sort of determination and self-discipline because there's no alarm clock and there's no one that's going to fire you if you don't get up. If you don't get up, you're not going to make any money. So business owners have a lot of discipline. Just to put things in context, depending on where you get your stats from, 3 to 8% of Americans are earning their living solely off their business. And that leaves us with about 97 to 92% of people who are employees or make their money as a employee. So what we have to do is understand how a business owner thinks. And once you understand how they think, you understand what sets them apart for the rest of the people. A lot of it is risk taking, and a lot of it is faith and having belief in that customer is coming. So we're going to look at that mentality, and I'm going to try to break it down. The second thing we're going to look at is your strategy. How are you going to take your mentality and apply it to a strategy? What's the best way to implement some of the things that you've been thinking in your head? And the third is goal. Now, a goal is actually number 2, but I put it up here on 3 because a lot of you who are used to agendas and putting things in order want to see things in that order. But the truth of the matter is, your goal will dictate your strategy. And if I'm in the end of a game and I'm down by 2 in a football game, and I know I have to get inside the 30 to kick a field goal, then I have to understand what I'm going to do on 3rd and 6 if I'm on the, let's say, 38. So your goal of what you're trying to do will always dictate whether you run or pass. And the same thing in business. Whatever you're trying to do, short term, just to kind of have a business for a couple years, or long term, you want to do some franchising, or you just kind of want to go into something with your brother or sister because you thought it was cool and it's in a city or a town that you guys grew up in. Whatever your goal is will dictate your strategy, and we'll go over that as well. But we'll go through these one by one, and of course, if you have any questions, just put something in the Facebook comment section, and I'll try to get to it. Okay, first things first. The basics. My daughter's name is Skylar. And Skylar's a smart girl. She's 10 years old. And this is going to be Skylar. Now, I didn't claim I was an artist. I said I was an attorney. So give me a break. But this is Skylar. And Skylar, let's say, has some cookies. And I'm just going to put like 3 little cookies here. But let's just suppose she has 10 cookies. And then she went out to the kids at her school and their parents. And she said, I'm going to sell these cookies to these parents and kids. And then they say, for every cookie you sell me, I'm going to give you $1. Right there. Okay? It's business. Okay? The minute you have a transaction in which somebody gives you money for a service or product, you're in business. And the question is, always for most people, what is that service or product that's going to work for you? So in this case, Skylar's in business, but she doesn't know it. She just knows that she made some cookies, she took them to school, and then all of a sudden someone gave her $10 after she sold some cookies. But she sits around the dinner table and she says, Daddy, I sold 10 cookies today. I think I can start a cookie business. Now, I'm the business attorney, Daddy, so I can't just let that go as, yeah, right. I have to say, okay, well, in that case, you're going to need to form an LLC, open up a bank account, get your S corporation started, etc. No, I'm not going to say that, obviously. I'm going to say something that's like, a little bit more palatable for her. I'm going to say, well, Skylar, you have to understand what business is to make sure we're talking the same words. This is always about choose your words, even to our 5-year-old. It's about choosing your words to understand what you're saying. If you're saying that you want to be in business, I'm going to get you ready for it. The truth of the matter is, Skylar, you don't have a business. You have what's called a business transaction. Okay? Let's just call it a business transaction. Now, a business transaction does not make a business. Okay? It's just one piece. To make a business, those transactions have to occur over and over again to the point where those transactions become constant. And so that if this is May 23rd, then if you have to do this on May 24th, on May 25th, now, just so happens Skylar's last day of school was today. So if she started her business today, she'd have plenty of time to get this started. Maybe something to think about when she gets home. Okay, so she truly wants to start a business, she has to consider this as being a series of transactions, a series of $10 cookies, or 10 cookies that she sells every day, all day. So tonight, immediately, if she wants to be in business, she has to start baking again. Because if she doesn't have cookies tomorrow, she can't be in business tomorrow. So that brings us to the mentality. And I think that the mentality Skylar has to have in starting Skylar's Cookies is to understand what the objective is in business. Okay, as a business owner, you are taking care of a baby. When you start this venture, it's like a baby. It needs to be taken care of every day, not every other day, not part-time, not at your lunch, not after work, but every day. You have to cuddle it and nurture it. And part of feeding the baby, and a business is very simple how you feed it. The number one thing that feeds a business is money. You got to have money to feed a business. You got to have money to start it. You got to have money to keep going through it, to keep it going. Again, I am a for-profit business attorney. I don't do nonprofits, so I'm sorry if anybody's calling with any charitable ideas. I'm sure that they're very great. I'm sure that there's people out there who can service the charity, but I focus in on profit. And a lot of my business owners take their profit and turn it into charities. So she has to get money, and then she has to take it to a bank. And she has to put it into a bank account. That's the primary focus of a business owner, is to take money and to put it in the bank account and try to convince people to sell a product or service to you that you can put into your bank account. In this scenario, we're trying to sell from cookies into our bank account. The money that you get from people is called revenue. The money that your business gets. Revenue drives the money that drives your bank account. So the more people you get to put revenue into your bank account, the more your business is successful. And then from your bank account, the money goes all over the place, right? It goes to her sisters, it goes to other people, and those things are called expenses, right? In this case, Skylar didn't have any expenses. Well, she should, but we gave her the cookie dough and we gave her the heat to light the oven. So the parents are in the first level of investors, and they are the ones who covered her expenses. But she normally would have had to give in maybe $2, $3 of that money that she gave over to something that helped produce the product or service that she sold. Nothing comes for free. Even if you are a service provider and you're an accountant or you're an attorney, you're giving hours of your time. And so based upon those hours of the time that you give, you are, it's a cost, whether it's, what you could have been doing otherwise or who else you could have been working for. So revenue is the name of the game as a business owner. The difference between a business owner and employee is that revenue is constant in a business owner's mind. Employees, they get a check every 2 weeks, and so that check represents their revenue. So you go to work, you work hard, you don't work hard, whatever, your boss gives you a check every 2 weeks no matter what. A business owner doesn't have that quality. So Skylar, for example, had earned $10 on that given day, but she could earn $1 the next day or $40 a day after that, or no dollars for 4 or 5 days in a row. So the business owner has to fluctuate up and down in terms of their focus in on starting their business and getting revenue. So you have to be prepared for the ups and downs of business. So in this case, when we talk about the mentality for generating business, we have to break down the day. Okay, Skylar, you just earned $10 today, and part of that is you were able to go outside, make cookies, and sell that $10. But tomorrow's a new day, and if we know we're going to be a business, we have to do this every day. So let's focus in on what your next 24 hours is going to look like. For a business owner, your day is really broken up into three parts. The third of it, which is about 6 to 8 hours, is sleep. Now, some people sleep more, some people sleep less, but you have to sleep. Your brain will not function if you do not sleep, whether you're an employee or a business owner. Then as a business owner, you have another 3 to 4 hours of just personal time. What is personal time? Depending on who you are. Maybe it's doing something with your kids, maybe it's going to church, maybe it's exercising, whatever, eating. But you usually have 3 to 4 hours of just personal time where you can reflect and think about things yourself. As a business owner, the next 12 to 15 hours are focused in on your business. Right? Now this is true every day, Sunday through Sunday. Okay? Business owners have no off days. There is no free day in which someone comes to you and go, hey, you're a business owner? How about $100 extra for you today? They don't do that for business owners, so you have to constantly focus in on your business Sunday through Sunday. You might reallocate your hours given a given day, but in general, your business is a constant focus from Sunday to Sunday. So Skylar, forget about your Saturday parties and sleepovers. You got to go to work. It's focus time, okay? So now we are focusing in on the 12 to 15 hours, and then there's 3 topics we want to hit when we're talking about your business hours. The first one is revenue, right? You have to always be thinking about revenue every time you're in your business. So during those 12 to 15 hours, you have to be thinking about ways to sell those cookies and how to sell them and who you're selling them to. So in this case, you might be thinking, well, I'll sell them to my friends at school, their parents, and then you have to start setting up ways to meet those parents and sell to those kids. And that's really your 12 to 15 hours. Because all of that leads to how am I going to get them to convince to put money into my bank account? The second thing is you have to outsource things you don't understand. So business owners think about revenue and then secondly, outsourcing. Why outsourcing? If I have 12 to 15 hours to focus in on my business, I can't use an hours to do things that I don't understand. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time trying to build my own website or do my own business cards or do my own financial information because I have to generate money as a cookie salesperson. So you have to understand that what you can and cannot do. And once you understand your weaknesses, that'll free you up to be a better business owner. You don't want to spend any of this time doing things you don't understand. You want to spend 3 to 4 hours of your personal time doing things that you don't understand. Some things you might like to do. Don't let it absorb too much of your day, though. You find yourself banging your head against something for a long time, you need to make an executive decision and say, I got to move on. Number 3 is relationships. Business owners think about relationships because relationships lead to revenue. People do business with people who they like and know. So the more you can spend time with other business owners and customers and clients, the better you can do to help your business. So in terms of Skylar's cookie business, she's focusing on revenue. She wants to start to outsource her cooking, all of the making of the cookies, all of the selling them out front, and then she wants to go and build relationships with PTA groups, schools, Girl Scouts clubs that will buy her cookies. So why is all this relevant to what we're talking about? I don't have a lot of time. I guess I got so fired up, but I'm going to get to the point. I got about 5 more minutes. Okay, so why does all that matter? Well, if you're going to spend 12 to 15 hours on your business, I'm going to talk to you today about how to outsource one section of your business. And that is the formation of your business entity. Okay? So going back to Skylar, she has all her money that she's making from her business, in this case $10. And she's selling them to the public, but when the people buy her cookies, they're also buying something else, and that's called liability. meaning that hopefully this cookie is a cookie. What if it has, I don't know, a Barbie doll in it, or a Barbie doll shoe in it, or some sort of piece of metal that her sister dropped on the ground? When she sells that cookie, not only is she in business, but now she's selling the idea that she's delivering to people a real cookie and that it's not a trick cookie. And so this liability is really what us as business attorneys try to help to minimize for business owners, is that making sure Skylar understands what a cookie is, and then making sure that when she sells that cookie, that she's able to move that away and be done with that and keep that dollar instead of feeling like a piece of that dollar is still unearned. And so the way you do that is you build a shell around your business, and that's typically in the form of an LLC or corporation. Now, I'm not going to get into how to form an LLC or corporation on this session, but I will say that this is the first part of being in business. When you form an LLC or corporation, you are saying to the world, I am officially in business. The Secretary of State of your respective state will allow you to file documents in that state to recognize that company. And publicly, people will know it. So Skylar will go to the Secretary of State here in Georgia and file her articles of organization to form her LLC. Once she forms her LLC, the state says, because you did that and let us know that you were in business, we're going to give you protection around those cookies. So if somebody comes after you for those cookies, they can only go after the $10. They can't go after your dollhouse and the things that you have at home. They can only go after what's inside the business. And so that's the basics. The real matter is, though, when you file this LLC, you become a publicly identifiable entity that people can search and check and verify, and they know that you are in business. But the second part of this is to also get a tax ID number. So you form your LLC or corporation, you get your tax ID number from the IRS, and then with those two things, you can open a bank account. So now Skylar can, the day after she sold her cookies, go form an LLC, get a tax ID number, and use those two documents to open up a bank account. Because now she can take the $10 and put them in a bank account and distribute the expenses to the people they're supposed to be distributed to. So this is the beginning idea. If she's going to spend her 12 to 15 hours tomorrow on her business, she will need to form an LLC, get a tax ID number, and either she can do it herself, part of her 3 to 4 personal hours, or she can outsource it to an attorney or somebody that they trust in terms of getting that started. But once she has that bank account open, she can move that $10 into her LLC's bank account, and she's in business. And that's the initial stages of starting a business, is taking that money, getting it from your business and putting it into a business bank account, and you are in business. So unless there's any questions, and I'm going to go through this Facebook here and see if anyone has any questions. At the bottom of the page, you can put information, or you can ask a question in the comment section, and I'll get it. If I don't get it now, I'll try to get it another time. I'm not sure how often I'm going to do these, but today I'm just having fun, just trying to do something different and appease the social media gods by giving back to the community. We'll build off this example in the future if people have questions. There's so many directions we can go in. I can talk about outsourcing. I can talk about relationships. I can talk about the legal aspects. For example, if Skylar wants to franchise, what she might do to get a trademark, or if she wants to one day sell her company, how she might create this structure now to sell her company. There's so many different ways she can go, but the number one thing that she has to start doing is believing that she's a business owner. Start treating the business very seriously and focusing in on the things that are important. I'm Dave Walker. It was fun today. I had a good time, and hopefully I'll do this again. I'm not sure when. Like us on Facebook. See that up there? It's my Google ad, my Facebook ad. Like us on Facebook. So like me on Facebook. Follow me on Twitter. I guess I should put that up there. It's just at David M. Walker, ESQ. It's my Twitter account. So if people want to follow me on Twitter, there's great articles that I post on there. I'm down at Atlantic Station. It was fun, and hopefully we do this again. Thanks. Bye-bye.